It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. This world is but a canvas to our imagination. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. The most I can do for my friend is simply be his friend. Rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I would rather sit on a pumpkin and have it all to myself, than be crowded on a velvet cushion. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. Never look back unless you are planning to go that way. Our life is frittered away by detail. Simplify, simplify. There are 1,000 hacking at the branches of evil, to one who is striking at the root. An early morning walk is a blessing for the whole day. Not until we are lost do we begin to understand ourselves. Make the most of your regrets, never smother your sorrow, but tend and cherish it till it comes to have a separate and integral interest. To regret deeply is to live afresh. Many men go fishing all of their lives without knowing that it is not fish they are after. I say, beware of all enterprises that require new clothes, and not rather a new wearer of clothes. Pursue some path, however narrow and crooked, in which you can walk with love and reverence. It is not enough to be busy. So are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about? Things do not change, we change. Heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads. What lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Our truest life is when we are in dreams awake. Disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves. You must live in the present, launch yourself on every wave, find your eternity in each moment. I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. Goodness is the only investment that never fails. Could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant? Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. It takes two to speak the truth, one to speak, and another to hear. There is no remedy for love, but to love more. The language of friendship is not words but meanings. Thank God men cannot fly, and lay waste the sky as well as the earth. Any fool can make a rule, and any fool will mind it. Be not simply good, be good for something. If I knew for a certainty that a man was coming to my house with the conscious design of doing me good, I should run for my life. Friends, they cherish one another's hopes. They are kind to one another's dreams. Live your life, do your work, then take your hat. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. A man is rich in proportion to the number of things he can afford to let alone. Nature will bear the closest inspection. She invites us to lay our eye level with her smallest leaf, and take an insect view of its plane. Do what you love. Know your own bone, gnaw at it, bury it, unearth it, and gnaw it still. Live the life you've dreamed. There is no value in life except what you choose to place upon it, and no happiness in any place except what you bring to it yourself. It is better to have your head in the clouds, and know where you are, than to breathe the clearer atmosphere below them, and think that you are in paradise. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler, solitude will not be solitude, poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness weakness. The heart is forever inexperienced. To affect the quality of the day, that is the highest of arts. If the machine of government is of such a nature that it requires you to be the agent of injustice to another, then, I say, break the law. That man is rich whose pleasures are the cheapest. I am grateful for what I am and have. My thanksgiving is perpetual. What is the use of a house if you haven't got a tolerable planet to put it on? If misery loves company, misery has company enough. I have always been regretting that I was not as wise as the day I was born. Under a government which imprisons any unjustly, the true place for a just man is also a prison. Dreams are the touchstones of our character. Every generation laughs at the old fashions, but follows religiously the new. The squirrel that you kill in jest dies in earnest. What is once well done is done forever. In human intercourse the tragedy begins, not when there is misunderstanding about words, but when silence is not understood. It is never too late to give up our prejudices. True friendship can afford true knowledge. It does not depend on darkness and ignorance. We must walk consciously only part way toward our goal, and then leap in the dark to our success. The perception of beauty is a moral test. Men are born to succeed, not to fail. We shall see but a little way if we require to understand what we see. That government is best which governs least. The light which puts out our eyes is darkness to us. Only that day dawns to which we are awake. There is more day to dawn. The sun is but a morning star. The smallest seed of faith is better than the largest fruit of happiness. Time is but the stream I go a-fishing in. In wildness is the preservation of the world. Truths and roses have thorns about them. In the long run, men hit only what they aim at. Therefore, they had better aim at something high. If we will be quiet and ready enough, we shall find compensation in every disappointment. How vain it is to sit down to write when you have not stood up to live. Do not hire a man who does your work for money, but him who does it for love of it. As in geology, so in social institutions, we may discover the causes of all past changes in the present invariable order of society. Do not be too moral. You may cheat yourself out of much life so. It is only when we forget all our learning that we begin to know. It is what a man thinks of himself that really determines his fate. A man cannot be said to succeed in this life who does not satisfy one friend. Books are the treasured wealth of the world and the fit inheritance of generations and nations. Money is not required to buy one necessity of the soul. If you would convince a man that he does wrong, do right. Men will believe what they see. The only obligation which I have a right to assume is to do at any time what I think right. The savage in man is never quite eradicated. There is no odor so bad as that which arises from goodness tainted. Most of the luxuries and many of the so-called comforts of life are not only not indispensable, but positive hindrances to the elevation of mankind. Do what nobody else can do for you. Omit to do anything else. A truly good book teaches me better than to read it. I must soon lay it down, and commence living on its hint. What I began by reading, I must finish by acting. Do not trouble yourself much to get new things, whether clothes or friends. Sell your clothes and keep your thoughts. We are for the most part more lonely when we go abroad among men than when we stay in our chambers. A man thinking or working is always alone, let him be where he will. It is usually the imagination that is wounded first, rather than the heart, it being much more sensitive. Books can only reveal us to ourselves, and as often as they do us this service we lay them aside. Faith never makes a confession. Truth is always in harmony with herself, and is not concerned chiefly to reveal the justice that may consist with wrongdoing. If you can speak what you will never hear, if you can write what you will never read, you have done rare things. Read the best books first, or you may not have a chance to read them at all. There is no more fatal blunderer than he who consumes the greater part of his life getting his living. To be awake is to be alive. Nature puts no question and answers none which we mortals ask. She has long ago taken her resolution. There is always a present and extant life, be it better or worse, which all combine to uphold. To a philosopher all news, as it is called, is gossip, and they who edit and read it are old women over their tea. The rarest quality in an epitaph is truth. The universe is wider than our views of it. If I seem to boast more than is becoming, my excuse is that I brag for humanity rather than for myself. Our houses are such unwieldy property that we are often imprisoned rather than housed by them. Books are to be distinguished by the grandeur of their topics even more than by the manner in which they are treated. An unclean person is universally a slothful one. How could youths better learn to live than by at once trying the experiment of living? We are not what we are, nor do we treat or esteem each other for such, but for what we are capable of being. To have done anything, just for money, is to have been truly idle. The man who is dissatisfied with himself, what can he do? All men are children, and of one family. The same tale sends them all to bed, and wakes them in the morning. What old people say you cannot do, you try and find that you can. Old deeds for old people, and new deeds for new. Through our own recovered innocence, we discern the innocence of our neighbors. Those whom we can love, we can hate, to others we are indifferent. I have thought there was some advantage even in death, by which we mingle with the herd of common men. Nothing goes by luck in composition. It allows of no tricks. The best you can write will be the best you are. There is danger that we lose sight of what our friend is absolutely, while considering what she is to us alone. It is best to avoid the beginnings of evil. Every people have gods to suit their circumstances. No face which we can give to a matter will stead us so well at last as the truth. This alone wears well. If I could not doubt, I should not believe.